All right, the topic is vertex form of quadratic functions. As long as it's written in the form f of x is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. Okay, so before we get started, let's just diagram this function. Okay, the vertex is the point h and k. So notice that the formula says minus. So whatever's in for h and then whatever's in for k, that's going to give you the vertex, the high or the low point. The equation for the axis of symmetry, x equals, and then you just fill in the blank with whatever h is. Okay, so for example, if I have x minus 3 squared, that means that h is equal to 3. If I had x plus 3 squared, then h is equal to negative 3. Okay, and then just like always for the y-intercept, x is always going to be equal to 0 for the y-intercept. So you just plug in x equals 0 and solve for the y-intercept. All right, example number 1, the function f of x equals 3 times x minus 2 squared plus 5. Okay, remember the vertex is h and k. H and k. So the vertex is the point 2, 5. The y-intercept, we're going to let x be equal to 0. So f of x, actually it's going to be f of 0, is equal to 3 times 0 minus 2 quantity squared plus 5. Okay, 0 minus 2 is negative 2, and negative 2 squared is 4. 12 plus 5 is 17. So the y-intercept is 0, 17. So that's way up there, 0, 17. All right, the axis of symmetry is really easy. Okay, the axis of symmetry is just going to be whatever h is. So in this case, h is 2. So x equals 2 is the equation of that vertical line. And that's all there is to that. All right, look at another example, example number 2. Let's get started by identifying what h is. H is negative 4. K is negative 6 this time. Before it was a positive number because it said plus. Now this says minus, so it's a negative. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is look at h and k for the vertex. H is negative 4, k is negative 6, so the vertex is at negative 4, negative 6. All right, the y-intercept, f of 0 is equal to negative 2 times 0 plus 4, quantity squared, minus 6. All right, 4 squared is 16, so negative 2 times 16 minus 6. All right, so negative 32 minus 6 is going to be negative 38. So the y-intercept is 0, negative 38. Then, of course, your axis of symmetry, whatever x is on your vertex, that is the axis of symmetry. X equal negative 4 is the equation of the vertical line. Example 3, write the equation of a quadratic function with f of negative 1 equal to negative 7 and a maximum value at f of 2 equals to negative 1. So we're going to look at this and decide what all this stuff means. Negative 1 is x, okay? The output is y. So that's the point, negative 1, negative 7, x and y. All right, the maximum value is your vertex. Okay, this graph is going to open up downward like this, and the point at the very top is the point 2, negative 1. Okay, so h and k is 2, negative 1. All right, so remember the format that we're after. we want to make it look like this. F of x is equal to a number a times x minus h, quantity squared, plus k. Okay, so what we're going to do is we always need to find out what a is. So if we plug in numbers that we know, we can solve for a. Okay, we know that h is 2, and we know that k is negative 1, so that'll be minus 1 right there. Okay, and we also know that a point on the parabola is negative 1, negative 7. So if x is negative 1, I can replace negative 1 here. A is what we're going to solve for, and f of x represents y. Okay, so I plugged in everything that was given to me. Now I'm going to solve for a. Negative 7 is equal to a number, okay, times negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3, and negative 3 squared is 9. Okay, right here is a common place for a mistake. Make sure when you solve for a that you move that minus 1 to the other side before you divide by 9. So plus 1 on both sides. Okay, negative 6 is equal to a times 9. Now divide by 9. Okay, the common factor was 3, so negative 2/3 is equal to the number that we need to write our equation. Okay, so the function of x is equal to negative 2/3 times x minus 2, quantity squared, minus 1. Example 4, write the equation of a quadratic function with a minimum point. They're telling us that this is the vertex. So h is 3 and k is negative 5. Okay? And when x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2. So that's a point on the line. So we're going to fill all that in, work backwards, and solve for a. 2 is equal to a number a times, we're going to put x minus h here, so that's 1 minus 3, quantity squared, plus k, and k is a negative 5. All right, 1 minus 3 is negative 2, and negative 2 squared is 4. So 2 equal to a number times 4 minus 5. Okay, we're going to start off by adding 5 to both sides. So 7 is equal to a number times 4. Divide by 4. Okay, the number is 7/4. A is equal to 7/4. Okay, so to write the equation, all we need to do is replace a. F of x is equal to 7/4 times x minus h, and h is 3, quantity squared, plus k, which is negative 5. And that is your equation of that parabola. Okay, one more example. Example 5. Write the equation of a quadratic function with zeros at negative 1 and 3 and a maximum value of 8. So my maximum value is my vertex. So that's going to be h and k. Okay, and then zeros at -1 and 3. So x equal -1, y equals 0, x equals 3, y equals 0. Okay, since my vertex is hk, the maximum value is 8. That means that k is going to be 8, but we just need to figure out what h is. In other words, the x-coordinate of that point. If we look at the graph, we can kind of work backwards to investigate this a little bit better. The zeros are going to be at -1, and then at x equals +3. Okay, recall that your vertex is on the line of symmetry, which actually divides that in half. Okay, so the point right in the middle there, if I add 3 plus -1 and I divide by 2, 3 minus 1 is 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So at x equals 1, okay, that's going to be the x-coordinate of the line of symmetry there. The line x equals 1 splits that in half. So my vertex, my high point, my maximum value is at 1, 8. Okay, let me just recall what I just did. I took -1 plus 3 and found the midpoint between those two, which is 1. -1 plus 3 divided by 2 is 1. Okay? And since the vertex is on that line of symmetry, then that's what my h is. Okay? Now I have everything I need to solve for a. Okay? Y is going to be 0. Okay? X is -1. We're going to use this point right here for the x and y. Okay, and then h and k, so h is 1, so x minus h, remember, is what I'm filling in right there. Okay, quantity squared plus k, and k is 8, +8. All right, 0 is equal to a. -1 minus 1 is -2, and -2 squared is 4. I'm going to add 8 to both sides. 8 is equal to a number times 4. Divide by 4. That number is 2. So now I can write the equation f of x is equal to 2 times x minus h, and h is 1, so x minus 1, quantity squared, plus k, which is 8. Okay, I made a little mistake here. This should have been -8, which turns this into a -2. Okay? So that way it gives me a maximum, and that makes sense with my graph. It comes up and then it comes down like that. Okay?